Rest in peace and power, Richard Okorogheye and Evan Nathan Smith. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm Victoryforu and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're just going to talk. We are just going to talk because so much has happened over the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, which were preventable, the world we live in. But you know, that inquest into the UK about finding out if the UK is institutionally racist, well, this moment right here disproves the fact that they think that it's not. As you may or may not have heard, Richard Okorogheye's body was found after he went missing. Now, so many things led up to that, but when you see his mother crying on TV of quotes of police officers effectively saying, "It's your child, it's your problem, find them yourself," it's really difficult to hear because we've had so many times like this where this has happened. On top of all of this, had sickle cell. This is going to be the main point of what I'll be talking about in today's video. On top of that, Evan Nathan Smith, he also had sickle cell, and his death was completely preventable if the NHS and the people who were, taking care of him and everything had more resources and knew more about sickle cell, because his death was completely preventable. With all that's happened of late, there's been so much inaction around both of these circumstances. Whether we're talking about Evan or about Richard, inaction played a part in it. The delay in them actively searching for Richard, it took so many of us to be posting consistently on social media, sharing stories on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, before anything got taken seriously. And it shouldn't have taken that. It should not have taken so many of us online speaking about someone who went missing. It should not have taken that. It should have been their priority, in the same way that many other missing person cases are their priority. When we talk about Evan, we're talking about lots of things, from institutionalized ableism to institutionalized racism, medical racism, and so many other things. They were too slow to give him the medical attention that he needed, but his death was completely preventable. There's just so many layered issues which I'm not going to get into in today's video, but I just want to bring them up because they are completely necessary to everything that's been happening recently. From news interactions around talking about safety and the coronavirus and continuing to dismiss disabled people, continuing to dismiss people who have chronic illness, and prioritising the mental health of able-bodied people instead of prioritising the mental health of everyone. I completely get it. I'm an able-bodied person. I care about my mental health, and not to say that anyone else's mental health matters less, but at the moment, we're not even considering disabled people's mental health and physical health and their protection and their safety. I want to make this abundantly clear. No life is expendable. When you hear news reports of people talking about life getting back to normal for young people and everything, you also don't consider these people who, have chronic illnesses, have disabilities. So much of their treatment and everything has been put on pause. So many of us do not know what it's like to be shielding and the impact that has on your mental health. Yes, I completely understand that we were all in our homes. We all were in our homes. But shielding and just being in your homes is very, very different. Some people weren't even allowed to leave their rooms. Some people, on top of what they already are dealing with, on top of their disability, they didn't have access to other things. They didn't have access to mental health support. They couldn't go to certain appointments at the doctors which could have, prevented certain things developing. I know people who have had to have operations that, really could have aided their health and their life, put on hold, postponed, pushed back because of coronavirus. And yes, I understand and completely get that everyone needs to stay safe. I get that, I do. But when you consider this has impacted so many people's lives, and then on top of that, people who are disabled that we frequently and constantly dismiss within our society, we don't even think about them. We will just dismiss them in things like, oh, COVID is only affecting vulnerable people. So why are you acting like their lives are expendable? Their lives are just as important as ours. Everyone's life is important. No life is expendable. Obviously, you can probably tell that I could speak about this for a while, but not even from personal experience, from, you know, the places of people who I'm around, people who I genuinely care about and love, who I've seen struggling through this period. But I've come on here mainly to talk about sickle cell. It's something that I've known about throughout most of my life, because growing up in the Black community is something that you know about but don't necessarily know about in detail, because the likelihood of me, my family, getting sickle cell is really, really high, because it is higher in Black, African and Afro-Caribbean people. However, it can genuinely affect anyone, but it just predominantly affects the Black community, which, you know, is not ideal, it's not great. I'm going to give you some facts and figures about sickle cell directly taken from Sickle Cell Society. Please do go and check them out, donate money if you can, support them, especially right now. Things we should have been doing anyway, and something that I've had in my mind and literally planned to do last year before we got put into this whole pandemic was to give blood. It's something I still want to do. It's on my list of things to do, and I'm actively looking into it right now, because I know that from research that I've done that Black people, hello, us lot, we don't give blood as much as we should. Specifically Black men, we do not give blood as much as we should. And I believe male blood, it can be like transformed into other things easier than female blood can. And on top of that, Black people donating blood can directly help with blood transfusions for people who have sickle cell and other diseases that directly affect us as Black people. So Black people, you, hello, you right there, please, like, even if you don't feel confident giving blood right now, I understand, but please consider giving blood, because it could help, obviously, not only you, but could help your family members or could help someone within your community. Sickle cell disorder isn't something that's contagious or anything, it's inherited. As mentioned previously, this can affect anyone, but predominantly affects African and Afro-Caribbean people. If you're from any of those countries, it could affect you, so please do be aware. 1 in 76 babies in the UK are born with the sickle cell trait. Approximately 15,000 people in the UK have sickle cell disorder, and approximately 270 babies are born with this disorder as well, every single year. Things that we can probably do to be more aware of this, which is something that I'm, again, actively looking to do, and is also something I've wanted done for a while, is a blood test. Like a simple blood test. You can take that blood test to determine whether you have the trait. So if you have the trait, then it's something that you're made more aware of, that if, you know, one day you want to settle down, have kids and all of that, you are aware that this is what you could be passing on to your children. And if your partner happens to have that same gene, the likelihood is that your child could develop it as well. Children with sickle cell disorder they have like this increased chance of getting a stroke between the ages of 2 to 16. Now that's really young to even think about someone getting a stroke, so it's something that we all need to take more seriously, and on top of that, it's something that needs, you know, more funding, research and all of these things into it, because on top of many other diseases, this is not the only one that deserves all of the money and everything, but it's one that does, just like all the rest of them. Episodes of pain may occur in people who have sickle cell, and this is commonly known as a crisis. They tend to typically be dealt with very strong painkillers like morphine, but there are other symptoms and traits that you need to be aware of. The main one being is anemia. I've actually been tested myself, so as some of my parents have, my cousins, uncles, aunties have, a lot of us have been tested for, had that anemic test, because the likelihood of developing anemia if you have sickle cell is high. And on top of that, as I said previously, severe pain, which is quite common for quite a lot of different disorders, is something to be aware of. Other things that could be symptoms are complications of strokes, acute chest pain syndrome, blindness, bone damage, and priapism, which I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly, which is a painful persistent erection of the penis. I know, guys, I'm sorry, but it's true. This is fact. So any of this that I'm talking about, I'm directly sourcing from the Sickle Cell Society, so please do go and check it out for all of this additional information, because there's so much more on there. Things that we can all do, every single one of us can do, especially the Black community, to help out right now. Firstly, have this conversation within your household about sickle cell. Especially if you're in a black household, the likelihood of someone in your household, in your community, in your extended family getting it is high. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Take people seriously when they tell you about things like this. Don't just dismiss it as, oh, it just peeing, it just is. No, please take people seriously, because that kind of dismissal within like a family setting progresses into that same dismissal in a medical setting, which we don't need right now. We really don't. We need people to be getting accurately diagnosed, and on top of that, when you go to a doctor, a GP, a medical practitioner, please ask, like, continue, even if they say, oh no, it's just this, here's some painkillers, it's just this. If you, in your heart of hearts, feel that there's something more, you know, pressing, please continue to ask for second opinions, go and see other doctors, because at the end of the day, it's your health, and that's the priority. Also, donate to different charities, specifically Sickle Cell Society, which I think is an amazing charity that you should definitely go and check out. If you don't have any money right now, which I understand, times be hard, you can donate blood. As I said at the beginning of this video, it's something that I'm actively looking at doing. Want to try and do it before, you know, my birthday, because it's just something that's so important. Obviously, you know, regardless of it being sickle cell or helping someone get a blood transfusion for any other condition, disorder, it's important, especially as black men. We are not doing it enough. Like black people in general, we are not giving enough blood. I know every single one of us would happily receive it. Every single one of us would happily receive it, but we need to give. We really do need to give. And it's something that you can do. It's free. It's like you can just apply. I'll put all information to Blood UK down in the description, so go and check that out. If you want to register to give blood, do that, please, because it can genuinely save not only one person's life, it can save multiple people's lives. That's the video for today. I know it's, you know, we're having these different kinds of videos. Last week it was like a fun fashion video. This week it's a very serious talking video, but please, please, please do go and look into this. Do go and research. And also, please take sickle cell seriously. And on top of all of this, rest in peace, Richard, Evan. Sending all of our love, our prayers, our everything to your families, because these were preventable deaths. And it's just, yeah, it's been a very difficult day. Like, I felt the need to film this because I didn't know what else to do, if I'm being honest. I didn't know what else to do. I felt so heartbroken when I woke up this morning, and I'm just hoping that by making this video, it could help someone. Just sending all love, so much love to various minority communities right now. So much is happening. So much is happening. I'm Victoryforu. I hope that you'll be victorious every day. God bless, bye-bye, and I'll see you very, very soon.